let's make some biscuits with olives and rosemary. So now this is a very easy biscuit recipe. They're called drop biscuits. There's no rolling out dough and stamping out biscuits. You're just gonna make a big old dough and scoop them onto the baking sheet. So we're gonna start with all-purpose flour. You need 2 cups. Into a nice big bowl, set that aside. To this, we're gonna add some leaveners, both baking powder and baking soda. For the baking powder, we want 2 teaspoons. There we go. 1, 2. Some baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon. A little bit of sugar, just a teaspoon. And some table salt, 3/4 teaspoon. Oh, I've never done 2 at once. Let's see. That's to make 3/4 teaspoon. Oh, 1/2 teaspoon and 1/4. That was pretty fun. All right, we're just gonna whisk this together. These are the dry ingredients, obviously. And I mentioned we're gonna flavor them with olives and rosemary, and here they are. You want about a 1/4 cup of chopped Kalamata olives. These have already been pitted. You wanna leave distinct pieces so people can tell what they are. One time I chopped them a bit fine, and my daughter, she was disappointed. She thought they were gonna be chocolate chips. So I'm gonna leave them in slightly bigger pieces so that they're definitely olives. You could actually take this recipe and substitute chocolate chips for this. It's one of the reasons why I love this easy drop biscuit recipe. You can flavor it so many different ways. All right, in goes the olives. Next up for the rosemary. What about 1.5 teaspoons of fresh minced rosemary? I washed this already. Just want the little tender parts of the rosemary, not that tough stem in the center. All right, that looks pretty good. Give this a quick chop. Ooh, flying rosemary. I'm cutting this up pretty fine. You really don't want to get a big chunk of rosemary in your mouth. That's a little unpleasant. You really want it to just mix into the biscuit dough. So chopping it up so there's no big pieces left. That looks pretty good. Into the bowl it goes. All right, so that represents the dry ingredients. And for the wet ingredients, just 2 things, buttermilk and melted butter. Now the buttermilk I have in the fridge because you want it to stay good and cold. All right, here I have a cup of chilled buttermilk, and I have a stick of butter that I've melted but kept warm on the stove, my favorite little butter pot. Now this is why this biscuit recipe works so well. The chilled buttermilk with the hot butter, it's gonna not mix so well right now, which is perfect. The chilled buttermilk is gonna make the butter turn into a little bit of chilled shreds. You know that happens when you mix something cold into melted butter. And those little shreds of chilled butter are gonna help the biscuit be nice and flaky. And that's why we don't have to do the rigmarole of folding and rolling out. You can see, oh, you can see it's getting clumpy. That clumpy butter is the key. So that's why you want cold buttermilk and warm butter. All right, into the flour this goes. Like I said, this biscuit recipe is so simple that you can flavor it any which way. Actually, if you don't add any flavorings, it's a great plain biscuit. Nothing fancy about this, just mixing it together, making sure there's no dried flour bits. That looks pretty good. Now to shape these biscuits, I'm just gonna use a 1/4 cup measure. That just ensures they're the same size. And I'm gonna spray it with a little bit of veg oil spray. Also gonna spray the spatula. Makes 12 biscuits. You see how easy this is. I also love it because there's no waste. I feel bad for the biscuit dough that gets left behind because you can kind of re-roll biscuit dough, but it gets really tough. Then it's like secondary biscuits or like fire sale biscuits, you know? I like all the biscuits to be good. I don't know that I'm gonna get 12 out of this. Might be making me a little bit big today. Looks like I'll get lucky 11, which is fine. Again, as long as the biscuits are roughly the same size, they'll cook at the same rate. 11 perfect biscuits. You're gonna bake these in a really hot oven, 475 degrees. Takes about 12 to 14 minutes. You wanna rotate them halfway through, and you know they're done when they're nice and browned. Oh, these are gorgeous. Oh, I love these biscuits. They turn out beautiful every time, and they're so flippin' easy. All right, now, one last trick. We're gonna paint a little melted butter over the top, just about 2 tablespoons. Oh, let that butter soak in. goodness. The smell of the rosemary and the olives is just such a welcome change from your traditional biscuit. I like that it's a little unusual. All right. Ooh. Couple biscuits getting a little extra love. All right, there we go. Now you want to get these biscuits right off this hot baking sheet because they will continue to cook. If you look on the bottoms, that's the perfect color. Nice and golden, but if you left them on there for too long, they continue to bake. Here's those biscuits. Oh, look at that perfect texture. I love how these flavors played. Thanks for watching. What'd you think? Leave a comment below and let me know what you're excited to cook this week. You can get today's recipes and more for free at our website.